We're rolling, right? Okay. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning.
Hey, thank
Jane.
you. Everyone's recovery journey is just a little bit different. So thank you for talking about yours with us today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you if you would be willing to share just a little bit about what growing up was like for you.
Oh, so growing up for me was like I had everything I wanted. I was spoiled rotten. I'm an only child. Well, I have two sisters, but my dad and my stepmom had them like 10 and 12 years later. So I grew up with my mom alone, right?
Oh.
So she worked a lot so she could provide all those things for me because she never had them when she was growing up. On the flip side of that, it left me kind of lonely. But I did have everything I wanted, and I was very sheltered. Like, she made sure that I was always at home. Like, I was never out late at night. Like, I was never like exposed to things that you wouldn't want your kids to be exposed to. You know, like some kids are. I was not. It was great. Like, I had a great childhood. My mom was like Betty Crocker. Always
Really?
Fresh cookies that she made, the dough, she made them, like always baking things. Like, I never had to worry about what, like, I had all the things that I wanted. I was just very lonely.
So the disconnect that happened after a really normal sounding childhood and into, a life of addiction, how did that happen?
I got on painkillers when I had my wisdom teeth pulled, and some other teeth pulled when I had braces when I was 14 or 16, I don't remember, somewhere down there. And I knew that I really liked those pills. They weren't super strong ones, but they were strong enough that I was like, ooh, I'm going to take another one. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And then, I had my kids miraculously. I didn't really get super into the pills before I got pregnant with my kids, but miraculously, I didn't smoke pot. I quit smoking cigarettes for both of my kids while I was pregnant. Like, I can do it for someone else, but I can't do it for me. So, and then after those, I had painkillers as well, and I'd be like, hey, can I get some more? And they'd give me some more. One of my kids was very hard birth, so I needed more. And so then the next time I was like, ooh, now I get to have more pills, and then I had a family member who got a lot of pills, and they would just give them to me. And then at one point, because I used to say, if it's not a prescription and if it's not weed or alcohol, I won't allow it in my house. No. And I had a family member who wanted cocaine, and then a significant other at one point that wanted cocaine, and a bunch of people that wanted it. And I'm like, well, shit, why does everybody want this? Okay, well, go get me some. I want to know what's so good about it. And that's when it really went, because then I was open to whatever. Then I started smoking OxyContin and like just, and when you get really that far into opiates, then like, if you can't find it, your next option would be heroin. And and then you couldn't find that anymore, and then it was fentanyl.
Wow.
So it's kind of like the market out there has gotten to the point where it's so easy to get. It was like $1 a pill to get fentanyl. Like, it's ridiculous, and I hate how it like kind of morphed into something stronger. Like, I don't know. It kind of forced you to go into that. Like, you couldn't stay on something smaller. You had to go further because it wasn't available anymore. Sorry, I don't know if that's part of something you want to say.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so easy.
Yeah.
Just go mow a lawn and you got enough for today and tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why it was easy to go out and just keep using.
Did you ask about what the turning point was? I stepped away from
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was homeless, and I needed somewhere to live, and so going into recovery just was the only option. And I didn't know it was recovery. I didn't know it was going to be recovery. I know when I went into treatment, I was like, okay, just 28 days, and then we'll have somewhere to live, and then we could just be normal again. And then while I was in treatment, I watched a movie called The Shack, and I was like, like it kind of changed my whole outlook on everything, because I didn't believe in God. My grandfather's a reverend on my dad's side. On my mom's side, we have a family church, and like everybody is super religious, and so I've kind of like pushed back at that. Like maybe I didn't feel like I deserved it. But when I watched that movie, I was like, oh, if God is love, then that's all it is. It's not like he's gonna punish you. You kind of punish yourself in your guilt, and like you put yourself through your own hell up here. It's not like a burn in hell. You know what I mean? It's not literally a place. But anyway, so I was like, okay, well, if that's what it is, then maybe I could do that. Maybe I want that. Maybe I want someone who loves me unconditionally, because I can't even love myself unconditionally. And then all of a sudden, I was like super into recovery, and I figured out, you know, like overhearing what people said, what it was and stuff, because like I said, I was very sheltered. Even in my adulthood, I learned to shelter myself a little bit. And so learning what recovery was and everything it's been great, because like I didn't even know it existed. So yeah.
So your decision to seek recovery, so then what led you to that?
Well, it got to the point where so I always provided for my kids. I have 2 boys. They are now 24 and 20, and I always provided for them. I had a really good job. I was like a hide addict. I don't know. I was like in the closet with my addiction. So like eventually it got to, like I did well with it until I didn't. And then eventually it got to the point where so my kids didn't live with me anymore. I was homeless. I was in a tent. I was in a basement. When we went into recovery, so me and my significant other, we went together into different places, but we went at the same time, pretty much. And we were in a tent at the very end. And I was just like, you know, we got pushed out of the basement because of city code, and this guy named Luke came out and got me, and he took us to treatment, and he like kept banging on the door. Like, so we didn't really want to go, but I knew we needed somewhere to live.
Right.
And I heard that if you go into treatment, they will hook you up with like an Oxford house or something. And I knew we wouldn't be able to be together, but I knew that we could both have somewhere to live.
And Luke is
he was a family friend. He was, at the time, I think he was the pastor at the church of the family.
Okay.
And he also happens to work in the city, I think at drug court, so he kind of knew what to do.
Okay.
Because the grandmother okay, so she's still my grandma, kind of. She's not my grandma. She's my son's great grandma. She went to church and she asked for prayers about her house. And he was like, can you be more specific? And so she did. And so he came over and took care of that.
Oh, I see.
So he let God work through him.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
which was
thanks.
great, because it took, like, we're both still clean, so.
Talk a little bit about your recovery journey. So then what did that look like now? Because it was pills that were primarily...
Well, it got more, like it ended up being, can I be specific
Of course.
about? It ended up being heroin and meth and fentanyl and crack and DMT and whatever I could get my hands on, really.
Wow. Okay.
But I had to have fentanyl and meth towards the end. Like I would go out and clean people's houses on this app to get money for it, like mow people's lawns. Like I didn't do anything that I shouldn't be doing, like stealing from people and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm kind of going off the rails on that. But
that's okay, because that was part of your journey. So
yeah,
it's important.
Yeah. I never did the things that some people do, where like I don't know, some people prostitute, and that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. But that wasn't my thing. I couldn't do that. But it was never enough to get us like housing.
Right.
Right. Or I door dashed while I still had a car. I ended up losing my car because of addiction, Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, I'd break down and I couldn't afford to fix it.
But see, interestingly, you were still a very ambitious person, even while you were using, because you were still going after jobs. You were finding a way.
Well, yeah, you have to. You have to in addiction, because like you have to stay well. And the scariest thing is not being well.
Oh.
That's one of the scariest things about getting clean, is that you're not going to be well for a few days, and you don't know how that's going to pan out. Like,
wow.
That's like the scariest thing. If you talk to any addict out on the street, they're going to be like, well, yeah, I need to stay well. You know, I never knew, like, I knew that there was a well other than the well. Like, you know, like this kind of well, like being actually well. But
healthy.
I didn't actually think that was reachable.
Oh.
Because then I'd have to suffer through, you know, that period of time where I didn't know what cravings were going to be like. I didn't know, like, I've never actually, so like I tried to get clean one time, and I just stopped doing my drug of choice, and I went up and lived with my best friend, and we were drunk the whole time. So it's like, if it's not one thing, it's another, right? But I never knew what recovery was.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was a thing. I thought it was like when you break your arm and you go into recovery, you know, like physical recovery. Yeah.
Okay. So this minister friend helps you, and what was the next thing that happened?
So I went to treatment. I went to detox and treatment, and, you know, actually, I don't even remember really, other than the really good food that they had in the fridge. But they had, like, and this sounds really bad, but they give you the right drugs for the withdrawal and for the feeling of being sick. Like, so for 4 or 5 days, you're just kind of like in bed because they keep you out. You know what I mean? Like, they keep you knocked out so that you're able to go through that without having to suffer.
Oh.
So it was actually easier than I thought. I was like, why did I wait so long to do this? But I didn't really know how to go about getting into treatment and into like detox or anything like that. And if I would have done it by myself, I probably would have only went to detox, and I don't think that would have been a good thing.
Right.
Because I probably would have just kept using when I got out.
So then how along this line, then what happened, and what was your introduction to the cafe?
Oh, so the guy, Luke, that I told you about, he told me about it. Like I told you, he works like at drug court. And so he was like, yeah, check out the Recovery Cafe when you get out, and this and that, whatever. It's right across the street from where you go to IOP, because that's where he took me to go to, took me to Evergreen to go to treatment and detox and all that. He's like, it's right across the street, you know, just check it out. And I was like, maybe, you know. And then I went, when I got into my Oxford house, my friend Lexi was the president of my Oxford house. And so she let me tag along and come here while she went to work, and I just kind of hung out, and I became a member. And so then, like, I began the barista training program after I finished IOP. I had to finish IOP first. I kind of took my recovery slow.
And the IOP, what does that stand for?
Intensive outpatient
Okay, thank
treatment.
you.
Yeah. And then so like you start with IOP, intensive outpatient, and then you go into just outpatient treatment. Intensive is like 3 days a week for 4 hours a day. And then regular outpatient is like 2 hours a day, twice a week. And then relapse awareness is 1 day a week. I don't remember exactly, but then you go on to continuing care, where it's just a little check-in every week. So it kind of eases you down from that, you know, it's like weaning you off of the treatment program.
So then you came to the cafe, and how did that feel?
At first I was really awkward. So when I was in addiction, I was not a social butterfly. I've never been one to like running into someone at the grocery store. I have never been one, like, I will, like, you know what I mean? If I see somebody, I'll be like, oh, I hope they don't see me. I think a lot of that came from when I was actually normal, but I wasn't. And so I had to pretend like, so if I'm all super high at the grocery store with my kids and I run into someone from work, I couldn't show what I really was, so I had to hide. Like, and so that became a thing. I would hide all the time from everybody. And when I came here, I just felt like now I was free. Like, I kind of like, I had the acceptance, radical acceptance of my addiction. And I know that other people here have other things going on too, and so they all understand. So I feel really free here.
So, what do you feel kept you coming back to the cafe throughout your recovery process?
Well, the accountability, but it's not like strict accountability. Like I have time, like they'll allow you to miss circles and stuff like that. Like you have to go to a circle once a week to keep your membership, but they allow you to miss one here and there. You know, like it's not like a job where you're going to get fired if you don't show up. You know, they understand. Like a lot of them that work here are addicts as well, or in recovery of some kind, and they know that you need grace. So I don't feel like I have to come here. But at the same time, I know that if I want to keep coming here, I do need to make some requirements or meet some requirements.
So, how was your access to a recovery coach and your recovery circle? How the things that you're talking about, and you keep coming back, the accountability, how did that impact your
Greatly. Having people, okay, so in the circle, you hear other people's story a little bit, and you hear how they're struggling just like you. And so you don't feel so alone, you know, and it kind of gives you a group to cling to, like people that you know in the circle that you're in. You know, people sometimes switch their circles around and stuff because of schedule, and I think that's great too, because then you get to know more people. And the coaching gives you like a one-on-one, you know, with somebody who can cheer you on and just keep on your list of things that you need to do, you know, and they remind you, and they really just, I don't know, they're just such a great, like, it's a great aspect of this cafe, the coaches, I think.
So the coaches, you developed your own path, right?
Yes.
And the coach just helped you how on that path?
So you write out a list of, you know, they have a paper that you fill out, like that says, like, you know, what are your goals? What is this? What is that? And sometimes it changes. So when you meet with your coach, you can just be like, hey, this one's not on the list anymore. They might ask you why. Like, are you sure? Like, is that something you really want to do? Like, is that like, maybe they agree, maybe they don't, but they don't really, it's not really about what they think, it's about what you think. So they kind of pull out, like, maybe you don't really want to change that. Maybe that you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should keep that on there, you know, and just add something else.
Do you have an example of one of your goals? Just anything you can recall.
To get a job, and to get a car. And we ended up getting those things. I didn't get those things while I was being coached. It came after. But little things that I worked on, you know, I worked on little things to build up to that, like saving money, getting my ABD. Like I wanted to because I didn't want to get a job right away. I wanted to take my recovery really slow. So like she talked me through, like, you know, just make that call to ABD and see what can happen, and getting my child support figured out. I finally made the call, you know, like having someone cheer you on and tell you it's not that hard, you know, you can just get on the phone, you know, or they sit with you through it. You know, like, okay, well, when we meet this week, we're gonna call. And I'll sit here next to you. And so like when you have an appointment to do something, it's a lot easier to get it done than just trying to motivate yourself just on any regular day.
I think you just covered what was different about working with a coach than in a recovery circle, so thank you.
I can add to that though.
Okay, please do.
The circle is more, it's more like there's a little bit of time for you to talk and stuff and get feedback. You get feedback from other people, from peers. And a lot of people, not that it matters what other people think, but it does matter what other people think. And that with their experiences, like sometimes you have something and you're like, well, this is my fault, this is just how I am, and they're like, well, that wasn't your fault, and you don't have to be like that. Like that's not you, that's your trauma, you know what I mean, type of thing. And then with a coach, it's like cheering you on for your goals.
So what kind of a support system do you have now that's outside the cafe?
So family members that kind of, I don't want to say they stepped back from my life while I was using. I kind of stepped back from their life while I was using. And now I have a reconnection with them. Some of them.
Good.
My son got into recovery after I did. And so he is now part of my support system too, my oldest. And I have my significant other, and I have a sponsor and a home group.
So, what is one thing that you'd like others to understand about your life in recovery and the impact that the cafe has had on your life?
I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how things were going to turn out. And knowing what's going to happen takes all the fun out of it. But anyway, at the time, it's really scary not knowing. And if you just let it happen, I don't know, God's got you, I guess. I didn't know how I was going to get a job. I probably should work on my resume so I can go further and help people and stuff too, but I'm still at Artisans. I don't think I would have gotten that job right away or whatever if Lexi hadn't have but that was a year into my recovery. So I really needed to get work.
Okay, so Lexi trained you. This was the person that brought you into the cafe, and she trained you.
Yeah, in the barista training program. Yeah. And she went out and scouted jobs that relate to that. So at cafes, local cafes that are in walking distance. And because at the time I didn't have a car. Right. And she's like, hey, Artisans is hiring. And so I went and I did an interview, and I've worked there ever since. So, Excellent. And then we were able to get a car because we saved money. Now we don't have to ride the bus or walk. It's really improved my life a lot.
So what is your life like today? And is the cafe still a part of what's going on with your life?
Yes, the cafe is definitely a part of what's going on with my life. I still come here. So I went through this phase where if it's for me, I wouldn't do it. I just got really monotone. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to stay in bed. Kind of almost like the pink cloud lifted. And I kind of just went, right? But coming here, I know that there's people here who depend on me. And if it's just for me, I probably won't do it. But if other people are waiting for me, I probably will. So I decided that I would ask if I could facilitate a couple of circles on different days so that I would have some reason to get up and get out of bed on days that I didn't work. So it still is a big thing. And it's helped me connect with people here. Yeah. And I feel like I have, when I walk in here, I feel like I know everybody. It's great. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
The Recovery Cafe is my happy place. Really, it is. I love it here. I think that getting into recovery, sometimes you don't even know what that is, but just getting started, that's all it takes is just getting started. And I didn't even know that I would ever have a purpose in life. I always thought it was just my kids and just working, you work to live and live to work, and and that's it. I managed a restaurant, I worked as a technician at a casino, and then I didn't know what was going to happen with my life. Now that I hadn't worked since 2017, it's been since 2017 until last year when I got the job at Artisans. Whoa. So I had nothing on my resume. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to deal with all that. And now I know that I want to end up helping people, I'm more of a social person now, and when I sit in the circles and I give feedback when I'm facilitating, it feels really good to be able to actually concentrate and listen to what they're saying and give them actual feedback that's not you should do this, it's more there's this resource out there, there's this one, here's some pathways that you could take if you wanted to. It's great to be able to feel that. That's what makes me happy here, is giving back, I think. Because I can come here and volunteer.
Bet you make a heck of a latte too, don't you?
Oh, I learned pretty well, yeah. It's not as hard as it used to be. Lexi used to time me, and she's like, you've improved 30 seconds on each drink. And now I work over there, so now it's just so yeah, it's trained me a lot. I never knew how to make coffee before. It's easier than I thought it would be, but at the same time, at the beginning, it felt overwhelming.
That's kind of it in a nutshell, isn't it? The whole recovery thing. It's the overwhelming sense.
Yeah.
Getting past feeling overwhelming, and
nobody likes change.
Yeah. Oh.
But change is part of life, and it's just what happens. You're going to change whether you like it or not. Why not change for the better?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else
Thank
to
you.
say.
You've made me so emotional. I'm sorry. It's your story, and I'm just sitting over here.
Now you're going to make me cry because now that I'm clean, I have some little empathness to me.
Oh, well, and I'm just like,
Because I'm not all. Yeah.
I know. That's so cool.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. I love talking with you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thanks for having me be famous.
This is our 15 minutes girl right here.
15 minutes of fame.